What are we to do in the face of chaos? What are we to do in the face of the unknown? How should we act? Where should we lurch? To what shall we grab? I propose that in the face of chaos, our task is to tell the truth. To tell the truth. What truth? What is truth? Is there truth? To tell the truth as we see it. To look around, to honestly assess, to embrace our position, your single position, to embrace that, to take seriously your role to look around. See what you see, assess, and to speak that into existence truthfully. This is a challenge I'm wrestling with lately. I'm trying to write more. I'm working on a book. And so I'm trying to put those ideas, to make those ideas concrete, to flesh them out. When you're forced to write something, you really feel that. You write it down, you say, nah, that's not what I meant. That's not it. And you have to refine it. I'm putting those out there for people and getting feedback. But it's a challenge, this challenge to speak the truth. Right now I'm balancing that. I'd say the pull is to try and make it popular. I'm writing on Medium, an online publishing platform. And I want it to be, a small enough sentence so that people can digest it and read it in our modern go world. I want the title to be flashy enough that people will click on it and invest their time in reading it. So that these other forces, other than just the truth, the pure truth, and those need to be taken into account. But I keep trying to dig deeper and not couch my language in a way that's supposed to sound like a certain person's doing it, or try to be convincing in a certain way, but trying to learn to embrace speaking the truth. And I think that also involves finding your own voice. How can you be honest if you don't know, how you say things? And I think that's a journey to learn to find your own voice. I got a lot of this from Jordan Peterson, a professor of psychology at a Toronto University. He was on the Joe Rogan podcast recently. Actually, I'm a big fan of Rogan too. But anyways, he has this idea that our challenge in the face of chaos is to speak the truth. And this came up also with Joe Rogan. He had on there George Rush St. Pierre, which is a mixed martial arts champion, a UFC champion. And Joe's a wild guy, and he had George on there. And Rogan was asking him about aliens. I think there was an online rumor that George Rush St. Pierre thought he had seen aliens, or maybe he'd seen aliens, or this and that. And Joe was trying to get it out of him. And Joe wasn't really making fun of him. Joe's kind of like been into the UFO thing in the past. But George was like, no, I really don't want to talk about it. And clearly, he didn't want to be considered a weirdo. I'm sure his publicist had told him, don't talk about the freaking aliens. But Rogan was like, dude, man, if you saw something, tell us. And Rogan's big thing is just put it out there. No matter whether you think it's weird or not, no matter if you're going to change your mind later or not, put it out there. And I think Rogan's really lived that. And he was a big, we didn't go to the moon truther for a long time. Now he's kind of backed off of that. But he was honest both times. When he was into it, he was like, yeah, man, we never went. It was all fake. Now he's like, all right, maybe we went, this and that. But I'm interested in that idea of putting it out there honestly. And when we say tell the truth, again, it's telling it from your perspective, your particular perspective. And that both means your perspective, not someone else's perspective, but also your perspective at that moment. You can't know what your perspective is going to be for the rest of your life, but you can be honest to where you're at right now and learn to embrace that. I think about this in terms of a tattoo. I'm considering getting a tattoo. But it's hard because it's like, what if I change my mind later? But in that same sort of sense, if you're honest in that moment and you put something on your body that is true to you, that is meaningful to you, even if later on something changes, you're not as into that thing anymore, your style changes a little bit, it's still true, a true part of your history. It's still a part of you in that sense, even though you don't have to be identical to what you were when you made that decision there. So that's my challenge for me. I'm trying to learn to tell the truth, and that's part of why I'm making these videos. I find that it's a little easier for me to speak verbally, because I really enjoy talking to people. So it's a little more easy for me to speak verbally, and this is helping me to articulate my ideas so I can write them down, and that can be a little more mass audience sort of thing and a little more permanent. So that's my challenge to myself. For you, that's a challenge also. Today, when you find some moment of unknown, some moment of you're in a situation with a group and they don't know where to go, they don't know what to do, they don't know how to assess the situation, consider, you don't even have to say it out loud, consider what speaking the truth would be in that situation. If you assessed it, and to the best of your look around and figure it out, to your thoughts in that moment, from your perspective, not trying to take everybody's perspective, what would you speak? And maybe speak it out, but maybe not. At least think it. At least try to connect with that inner voice of what is it that I bring? What is it that I contribute? If I think an original thought, what would come out?